I sometimes lower my kids down a pitch rather than have them rappel. Here are some situations when I will consider using that option. Hello again all, I'm Jason. Maybe you've seen a video in which we described 3 different types of lowers off a tube-style plaquette device. You can find it through a link in the description. And I own a DMM pivot belay device. The hinge in the guide mode connection point makes it easier for the device to pivot, hence the device name, into lowering mode. My point is that we've done many a lower. We don't just go into rappels unthinking. For single pitch sport climbs, the current momentum in the climbing community is trying to convince local areas that lowers are far safer than rappels. You can follow another link in the description to the Lower Off initiative for more information. But that's a conversation about hardware maintenance versus transition complexity. Today, I'm talking about lowers in a multi-pitch environment. Here are some fairly common reasons why we might choose to lower rather than rappel. First, maybe one of the climbers dropped a device. Why not just lower them and then rappel after them? Sure, we could have them use a munter, but a lower avoids the lower friction and the potential rope twist that a munter can create. Second, in the alpine, we can sometimes have anchors that are less than ideal. Maybe a classic example would be a slung horn that should be fine with a downward pull, but could be risky if the pull ends up horizontal. Lowers might be more controlled and bounce less when we are starting off less than vertically. Third, because we don't have to be as aggressive with our legs to push back against the wall, a lower might make good sense in loose terrain, especially if people are below. While most climbing rappels should avoid big dynamic action movie bounds because we don't want to bounce weight our anchors, we simply can be more precise with our contact to the wall while on lower. Plus, we have our hands free to help. Fourth, we can also choose to lower if we have people below, even without loose terrain. A lower removes the possibility of accidentally throwing our rope down onto those people. Sure, we could use saddlebags, which we described during a video we did about different ways to get the rope tossed, or not, for a rappel. There's another link in the description. But lowering is certainly an option as well, and less prone to rope tangles. And the fifth reason is if we aren't sure where the next rappel anchor will need to be placed. In this circumstance, we can stretch the rope out as far as the rope length will allow. So if we need to go past the midpoint on the rope, we can know exactly how far past half the rope the next rappel station will be. Then we can make a plan to extend the rope the necessary distance, and you can watch, yes, another video that goes into that procedure. And if we should run into the particularly poor scenario of not finding a good next anchor point, we are essentially already on belay from the top should the rappelling climber need to ascend back up. They can just climb rather than having to transition from rappelling to ascending the rope. We do have another video that goes through that transition though, should you ever need it. There are other use cases like a nervous climber or injured climber, either of whom might need to become more passenger than driver for the descent. But those use cases are ones I've faced and for which I've chosen lowers. Not every time, but certainly some of the time. Have you used a lower rather than a rappel? In the comments, can you describe the scenario and why you made that choice? Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. You can watch that first video I mentioned about 3 different lower techniques using a plaquette, or maybe check out our entire rock climbing safety series. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.